Hello, all you fine listeners. Welcome back to the official first episode of the Rogers Radio Podcast. Hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of the Rogers Radio Podcast. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. I am your host, Alyssa Rogers. Hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of the Hello, Hello Podcast. I am your host, Alyssa Rogers. And today we are celebrating. It's just me right now, but you see another chair here because today we are recording on August 10th, 2026. August 10th is a very special day in this community because August 10th, 2022 was when the first podcast episode was released. 4 years. We are celebrating the 4-year anniversary of this podcast. And I say this podcast because it's evolved over the years, and I am so humbled. I'm overwhelmed with excitement because I got to go back over, the history, and I've been doing some research on the podcast, and I'm excited to share with you. I know that we have so many new listeners that we've gotten over the years, and so I wanted to talk to you today about the history of the podcast and how far we've come and go over some stuff, and then have a special guest that's gonna sit in when we get to that part of the story. So I just first want to start by saying thank you to everyone that has supported this journey over the years. And it's, like I said, it's evolved. I never knew that I would still be sitting here 4 years later talking to you. When I got into it, I had no idea where it was going to go. So how it started was, it was like 2 years in the making. So in 2020, I was introduced to podcasts, and I am a huge Bravo fan. I know I've talked about this before, and I started seeing some of the Real Housewives getting their own podcast, and they were talking about behind the scenes stuff on their shows. And so I said, well, let me tune in. Let me see what this is about. And I was hooked. I loved podcasting. I loved the idea of it. But I never thought of it really for myself, like who would want to listen to me? I had no idea. So I just kept listening for about a year. And then I started getting the idea because Rogers was growing at the time. And I'm like, how can we do this at Rogers? So of course I had a conversation with Joey, and I said, I've been listening to podcasts. I love them so much. What do you think about Rogers having a podcast? And of course, he's always on board. If it's about Rogers, if it promotes Rogers, let's do it. And so then he's like, but this is yours. Like, this is all on you. You figure out how to do it and, go for it. So it took me a good year to even feel like I was ready to do that. I had talked about it with other people, Rival Digital, especially Eric Thomas. He's been a guest on the podcast over the years, and he's helped us so much with our marketing, and Rival has been great. And I was talking to him about it, and I'm like, I just don't know. Like, how do I do this? He's like, you need to do it. You need to do it, because he had his own podcast at the time. I'm like, I'm so nervous. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if anyone wants to listen to me. And then it was finally about a year later, I said, okay, I'm ready to do this. Can you help me? Because I knew nothing about how I knew I could talk, but I knew nothing about the technology side of it and editing and all of that. And he said, okay, I'll help you. All you have to do, you get this equipment, and then you hit record and you send me the file, and I'll make sure that it gets everywhere it needs to be. So that's what got it started. But then I had to come up with a name. And then I had to come up with what I was going to talk about. And so not knowing anything, I'm like, well, it has to be Rogers, Joey said. So I guess it's going to be the Rogers Radio Podcast. And then we came up with a logo that looked very much like the Rogers logo with the same colors and everything. And so because we had no chat GPT to come up with some fancy names or help in that area, Rogers Radio Podcast is what it was. So then I had to figure out what I was going to talk about, because I knew me getting on here by myself every day or every week wasn't going to make me feel comfortable, because I didn't think that anyone wanted to hear what I had to say. And so I have always been fascinated with other people's stories. I love getting to know other people. I've always loved reading biographies. And of course, I was listening to podcasts because I was getting a behind the scenes look into other people's lives and kind of how they got to where they were. And so I'm like, why don't I do that? But for Halifax County and surrounding areas, like, how do I bring what I love so much about podcasts and about people and bring it to our little area here? So I decided I was going to reach out to people that I looked up to. I put a list together. I'm like, who do I admire? Who would I love to get to know more about? And I started reaching out to them. And I thought, I put together a list of probably over 100 people. And I thought, if I only get a couple people to respond to me, I will just feel so ecstatic. And I was so shocked. And I'm telling you, these are people that when they started responding to me, I was nervous, because these are people that I admire so much and look up to so much, but I had never really talked to them. And you know how when you go to like a networking event and you're so overwhelmed by the amount of people in there and you don't know them and you're nervous and it's like small talk, what do I ask them? That's kind of how it was for me. And I started getting an overwhelming response of people that were willing to come in and just talk to me about their journey and how they got to where they are. And that's kind of how it happened. So once I started having people agree to come talk to me, I then said, okay, well, this is real. So I recorded the first trailer episode, which I will make sure you can listen to, because it's quite funny to go back 4 years and listen to that, because remember, it was only audio. I had no video. So I just hit record on a microphone and I had no idea what I was going to say. And I just started talking into the microphone. I started that episode, hey, everybody. Hey everyone, welcome to the Rogers Radio Podcast. I am your host, Alyssa Rogers, and I am so excited to get this podcast kicked off. This has been in the works for 2 years now. And just started talking, and then it wasn't, so I'm going to give you some facts here, and I've written some of them down so I don't forget. But that trailer was like 2 minutes, and it kind of went over, the goal of the podcast, and it's so cool to me because I listened to it today that we have truly stuck to what that goal was for 4 years. And it was to get to know others and to promote the community. And I'm so happy that it stayed that way. But then I was listening to the first initial episode, and I opened it up like, hello, all my awesome listeners, or something like that. Like, hello, my wonderful listeners. And then I opened up another one, hello. And so I had no idea like what I was going to do. And so, the podcast says hello, hello. Of course, it started as Rogers Radio Podcast. And I wanted to see when did I start opening it with hello, hello. And so the fun fact is, it wasn't until the 4th episode of the Rogers Radio Podcast that I opened it and said, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of the Rogers Radio Podcast. I am your host, Alyssa Rogers. And then I kept listening to the other ones, and it was hello, hello every time. That was not planned at all. That is what just felt comfortable. I guess it stuck. I had no idea what I was doing. I was so nervous when I started this podcast. And I was so thrilled that anyone would listen to it. And I was just so excited every week. And then the evolution was I started having people come up to me in the community saying, hello, hello, to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know me by hello, hello. Like, hello, hello. I couldn't believe it. Like, people are coming up to me and I'm like, I didn't know you listened. You listen to me every week? And we would just have so many awesome conversations. And so that kind of evolved, but I just started opening every single one up with hello, hello. It just happened, like I said. The first guest I ever had was Joey because, of course, I was nervous and I had to like get the jitters out and figure out what kind of format I was going to have. So he was the first guest. But the first guest that I had outside of family or the business was Larry Davis. And Larry Davis has been so important to me over the years, and Joey, he married me and Joey, and he's been such a pillar of our community for so many years. So to have him as one of the first guests was awesome. And then we had so many people, like I said, that were willing to do it. And I can't believe I even had them in these walls, telling us their story. So I highly recommend going back and listening. I mean, we've had Dr. Betty Adams, Ryan Garrett, Jeb Burton, like in the early days, years ago. And we've had Patrina Carter, we've had Peyton Sellers, Bruce Anderson, like all of these people that are just so phenomenal. Tracy Quackenbush Martin, I'm missing so many people, but I just was overwhelmed when they said, of course, I'll come in and talk to you. And I like had an office and I just hit record and I just started asking them questions. So that was really awesome. And then as it grew, I decided, okay, this is getting bigger. People are seeing this, on social media, but they're only able to hear it. They're only able to hear. So how can we bring video to this? Like I told you from the beginning, I know nothing about the technology side of it. I was hitting record and sending the audio to Rival Digital, and they were making sure it got to everywhere it needed to go to. And I started talking to Joey. I said, okay, podcasting is growing. I really think we need to add video to this. And he said, we really need to add video to every aspect of this business. And I said, I agree. Well, how do we do that? And so we decided that we were going to hire a full-time videographer. And so that was, that was in 2022, the end of 2022, that we were able to get our full-time videographer, who is still with us today, and is my special guest today.
This is
you gotta
epic.
come from behind the camera. Yes, from behind the camera, and come sit with me. And he is not gonna be thrilled that I'm doing this. Kenny.
Hello.
Hello. Or should I
hello.
say, hey, everybody? Or hello, wonderful people.
Let me get this. I'm not used to doing this to myself. All right.
Hey, Kenny.
Do I look good?
Yes.
Good.
I mean, 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
You've been part of it for 3 of them.
3.5.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, what are your thoughts on all of this, that we're still going?
It's been a lot of work.
Yes.
A lot of work. A lot of traveling.
Yes.
A lot of hours. And just getting better and better.
Yeah. It really has evolved so much because, like I said, it was audio only. You joined the team, and I'm like, hey, Kenny, like, we're going to take this thing video. But at that time, we were just getting people to come to the office and sitting in this corner with not great audio kind of stuff. And we just sat in a corner at a glass table.
Because it was so colorful, and my colors were just all crazy. Trying to get it all to blend.
And this is also the first podcast that is video recorded on camera, which is super exciting.
But yeah, I was nervous. I was really nervous at first.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I can't screw this up. We don't get another shot, so
That is so true. And for everyone that's, viewing right now, it's just one shot. You're not seeing episodes with multiple takes and cuts and edits and all of that stuff. You have one shot for a 30+ minute interview.
Yeah. Because you can't tell them, hey, can we do that again? Because my videographer screwed it up or something,
Yeah. And so that just shows your phenomenal skills because we don't have to re-record.
Not yet.
Not yet.
As of yet.
And it's always, one take, and then Kenney makes it look great. And when he says it's a lot of work, I truly mean it's a lot of work for him because I get to sit here and I get to talk to the people. But you are the one that makes it look like it does, make sure it sounds the way it does. It's a lot of work on you.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Some are easier than others, but yeah, especially when we have a ton of people, that's hard.
Yes.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah. So there's a lot that goes into it. And I looked and I saw that our first video episode was January 2023.
Sounds right.
And it was my birthday episode, so my birthday's in January. And so we did about 25 episodes without video. And then ever since, it's been video. And we are at over 200 episodes now.
That is
over 200 episodes.
That's a lot of hours.
Every week, every Wednesday, it is released, and it's a lot of hours of content, a lot of hours of editing that you have done. And so you've been here for it all. You've seen it audio, you've seen it video, you've seen the name change. What were your thoughts when I said, okay, we're going to change it from Rogers Radio to Hello, Hello?
I don't know. I was kind of in, we talked about it a lot. I was kind of ready for it. I don't want to say ready for a change. It wasn't I was ready for a change, but I was just kind of wondering, where it would go and what, I thought it was the right move. I really did.
Yeah, and then part of that journey, like I said, was we're in the corner at this glass table and we're doing it on video. But then I then come to you as you get that down and you're like, okay, we have this window coming in and all that. I said, Kenney, I think we need to go to these people. I don't know that we need to do it in the office all the time. I think we need to go to the people.
Yeah.
And so then we evolved and started going to the businesses. And that adds a whole another layer for you.
A whole another layer, yes, it definitely does. It's not, I don't know if any of them have been extra, like way harder on me or nothing. But yeah, sometimes we have to load up everything, go. Sometimes we're out in the heat, but I think it's good. I think it's really good. It would get boring in here all the time.
It would, and to look the same. And these businesses deserve to showcase what they're doing, and these people get to showcase what they're doing, and that's been so important to us over the years. And I'm just so proud of how consistent it has been on posting and the message and the goal of it. Although it's changed in look and feel over the years, it's definitely stayed consistent in giving back to the community because we have had a lot of conversations on the road and, where it's going to go. And there have been other opportunities for this podcast to go other places or be a different way. And ultimately, it's always been decided we're going to keep it for the community and really giving back to the community and showcasing businesses. And a lot of those decisions were made because of you, the listeners and watchers every week, because you want to see that. And so I'm always trying to show it for you guys and what you want to see. And Kenney's trying to do the same in the background for you guys and making sure that it looks great, it sounds great, that it shows the way that it needs to really give back to the community. So it was January 1st of 2025 when we announced Hello, Hello. Hello, Hello. It's the new name of our podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa Rogers, and I am thrilled to share the Rogers Radio podcast is now called Hello, Hello, powered by Rogers Heating and Cooling. And so it was Rogers Radio podcast for years.
A lot of work went into that too.
Yes.
Just to switch over.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And it was scary because the Rogers Radio podcast was always posted on the Rogers Heating and Cooling page. And I was always sharing it to mine. And what I realized is we do heating, cooling, electrical, plumbing too. And so the
and
Rogers,
some other things.
Yeah, and some other things. And so I wanted everyone to still understand that we are an HVAC, electrical, and plumbing company. And if I was always posting the podcast every week to that page, I didn't want it to get confused. And so that's when we decided to make it Hello, Hello. And it's now on my personal social media pages, and we'll share it to the Rogers page and stuff like that. But we had to do that total rebrand, and I was so scared because our followers and our viewers were all going to that page every week. I'm like, what's going to happen when it's over here on my page? Do people, know where to go? And so it was a huge risk, I like to say, to get everyone over there, but I think it's been an even bigger success because I'm able to post about it more, and it's not overtaking what we actually do every day, and it's that other side. And so Hello, Hello in 2025, Hello, Hello is here to stay because it has stuck since episode 4, and now we're at over 200 episodes and continue to keep growing it. And I just want to thank you, Kenney, for sticking with it. I mean, every single week, it's like you got an episode. And I'll be honest, there are weeks where it's like, I don't really know who we're going to have on.
Yeah, what we're going to do this week.
He'll come to me like, so.
I'll say, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
And sometimes that's why you just see me. Because, you know what? We have to stay consistent, and we have for 4 years. And so what I want to know from all of you is, what do you love most about Hello, Hello? What do you love most about the podcast? What would you like to see more of? What would you like to see less of? And yes, more Kenney. Should we do a monthly segment with Kenney? Like a behind the scenes with Kenney. Like behind the camera view.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's interesting.
I like it. I like where we're going with this. Let me know what you think. And if you want to see Kenney on here more, I may have to pull him into the seat or wherever we are. But if you want to see him more, I'd be happy to have him on more. If you want to see more behind the scenes of Rogers, I'm happy to bring anyone on from Rogers or let you know more about what's going on here. We've just been overwhelmed in a good way with how many organizations are coming on and businesses that sometimes I forget that we were even giving behind the scenes of what's going on at Rogers, because I'm just so excited to feature everyone else. So if you want to see more of that or hear more of that, let me know and we can make sure to incorporate that. If you want to see more of Kenney, let me know. We'll make sure you see more of that. I'm literally this is our community podcast. And I want to continue seeing it grow, and I want to sit here every year and talk about this journey and the growth path that we've been on. So you just tell me, and we're going to build this community together. We're going to keep doing that. And, we have ventured all the way to Martinsville, Lynchburg.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
What's the furthest we've been?
So we've done Lynchburg. We've done Martinsville.
Probably be one of those two, because that's kind of like the same distance.
Yeah. South Hill, Clarksville, Danville, Halifax.
Did you say Chase City?
Chase City is another one. So we're willing to go. You just tell us who you want to see, and we will drive there. I will reach out to them to make sure we can come, but you tell us. If there's someone that you want to learn more about or a business you want featured, you let us know. We will reach out to them, make sure that we get them covered. And it's just so cool because so many of these businesses, they don't have, always have the ability to get the word out. And we're able to provide this resource to everyone. This is free. So I'm sure you know that, but I like to tell everyone, it is free to come on here. We do not charge anything for anyone to come on the show. So you give us the names of people you want to see, and we will reach out to them and showcase them. And I just want to thank everyone for your continued support, for allowing us to do this every day, because I love being on this side of the camera. Kenney loves being on the other side of the camera. And if it weren't for you, we wouldn't get to do that every week. So,
That's true.
Hello, all you fine listeners. The Rogers Radio Podcast is now called Hello, Hello. Happy birthday, Hello, Hello, Rogers Radio Podcast. And thank you, everyone, for watching and listening to this episode. I can't wait to continue talking to you each week. Continue rating, reviewing, subscribing, letting us know who you want to see next, and we will reach out to them. But until then, bye.
Should have balloons and stuff.
I know. I need you to put that in.
Fireworks and